Welcome to the show, everybody. This is, you like our shirts?
Yeah, check out these new shirts we got here.
This is Tennessee Wildcast, Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency's weekly podcast show. Tell your friends about us. If you haven't seen all the shows we've done so far, you're missing a lot of great information that will help you as a sportsman of Tennessee, a wildlife lover, an enthusiast, and their own all the time. You can still go watch every single one of them. This is show number 26, by the way.
Show number 26. We're moving right along.
Yep, and we need a lot of folks to know about it because we're going to stay here. We're going to bring you some good stuff, information, so you don't have to say, I didn't know that, or they didn't say that, or how do we learn about that? It's right here all the time.
Yep.
This is Jason Harmon. I'm Doug Markham. We both work at the agency. I've been here for many years. And
he's the old guy.
I'm the old guy for sure. And anyway, been here a while. It's been a great place to work, Jason, and you know that too. And so we're going to celebrate it today, our 26th show, by wearing these new T-shirts.
And we got some hats ordered.
Coming.
And hopefully maybe we can give some of these away on the show sometime.
That's the idea. We're going to explain that. We're going to have a Wildcast Extra, which is our 2 or 3 minute version of this show that Jason hosts and we put out on the Facebook page. And we're going to do one this week talking about what we're going to do right here.
Yeah, we're going to reiterate on Facebook.
Yeah, maybe add a little bit when we do the Facebook version of it. Our Facebook is easy to find, by the way. Just easy to find. We're the statewide Facebook and got a lot of followers, and we hope that that you follow us out there. And there's just no reason for you not to know what's going on with TWRA and with the hunting and fishing seasons and all the opportunities you have as just somebody who likes the outdoors.
Yeah, let me pull this up real quick just to show the folks at home on our website. You know, scroll down and there's our Twitter feeds and our newsroom and Facebook feeds. So
and scroll back up when you're done. Yeah, it's that easy. That's tnwildlife.org. You can find us all there. Scroll it down just a little bit, Jason.
Just a little bit.
Because I want to see the WMA. See the field locators out there, the dove locators. That's going to help you find where our fields are with GPS coordinates over there under what we call hot topics now. And you're going to be able to go there and find all our fields, and that includes leased fields that we're going to have. And folks are already calling and wanting to know about these leased fields. I know I got ahead of myself, right? But
that's all right. That's all right.
Leased fields, they're wanting to know. These things don't usually get leased until a couple days, maybe a week, some of them, before the season starts. But you'll be able to go into all those regions if you know where you live. And we don't care where you go. If you want to go from Region 4 over to Region 1, you can. But they'll list all the fields out there, the coordinates, how to get there, and help you with directions to get there.
And just for example, Region 2, it shows lease fields and WMA fields both.
Right.
So you can
go ahead and check out the WMA field. Like Camp Barron's great big field over toward Tullahoma. It's a huge field and sometimes has a really hot shoot, but you can't ever promise. I've been to the field, the one down there at Yanali. I've been there several times. I've been there when it was so hot you had to almost hold your ears, and I'd go the next year and nobody did anything. That's just dove hunting. And so you need to scout as best that you can and hope Mother Nature works with you and doesn't send in a cold front or a storm. I think one year she sent in the remnants of a hurricane, and that's when it was so bad in a lot of places. Anyway, so let's give it, before we get to our guest today, let's talk real quick about what is coming up. Jason, we got some seasons coming up. This Saturday is August 27th, correct? And that's the opening of squirrel season.
Squirrel season.
What else is it?
Looking forward to it. It's free hunting day.
Yeah.
So no license required that day only to hunt.
And this is for squirrel. No, we had a question on Facebook, can I go rabbit hunting? You can, but you're going to get in trouble with the guy that's in our guest today.
Yeah.
It's just for squirrels, okay? It's free hunting day. It's an opportunity to get a youngster out with you and go squirrel hunting. You don't have to have licenses or permits, which means WMAs.
Right.
You can go hunting on our wildlife management areas too. And anyway, the bag limit is, do you remember?
You have to help me out on that
10,
one.
10 a day.
10 a day.
Squirrels a day. Yeah, 10 a day.
I think I was thinking about dove does 15, right?
Dove is 15.
Okay, cool.
All right, and let's talk about that real quick. September 1st.
Yes.
Opens at noon on the first day, half hour before sunrise. After that, limit is 15 a day, okay? And we will have a lot of fields that are open. We'll have a lot of leased fields. This is a leased field I worked a couple of years ago. We'll have a bunch of these open. As I said, go on that website and find them, but be patient because they're going to be getting up there late. Some of them are great fields. They try to get it. The officers in the counties try to find as good a field as they can, but they're like anything else. Sometimes they're hot and sometimes they're not. Okay.
Yep.
So and then that same day, actually starting before dove on that first day, we have Canada goose season open in 5 limit. And the thing you got to remember that can be confusing there is that if you're hunting those Canada geese, Got to have non-toxic shot, still shot. And if you're hunting those doves, you can shoot your lead, which is what you probably want to do because it's so expensive. And a lot of you are shoot like I do.
Yeah.
So you want to shoot lead. So don't get confused, but make sure you have steel or non-toxic shot when you're going after those Canada geese, and make sure you plug your shotgun.
Yep.
If you haven't, say the last time you went hunting was for rabbits and you took that plug out, you don't want to get in trouble on that day. That's a day where our wildlife officers are out there, federal wildlife officers are out there, and one of the first things they're going to do is check to make sure that shotgun is plugged and you can't put more than 3 shells in that shotgun, okay? So do that and make sure you just remember where you are, what field you're on, and have a great time. Yeah. All right, let's pull it out. Let's introduce our guest.
Sure.
He is this year's best officer of the year.
Yeah.
Which doesn't surprise me at all. Excuse me. This is Joe Fortner. Joe is the officer over in Dekalb County, one of 2 officers over there.
Correct.
And I've known Joe a long time. Joe's daddy, Tony, worked for the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency for, I guess, 30 years or so, Joe.
He started in 1978.
1978. And he retired a few years ago. He was Williamson County. If there was hardly a person that didn't know Joe, that didn't know your daddy. Over in Tony, over in Fortner County.
Fortner, he's got his own county now.
They might want to rename it that. There's not many people. Let me start off from the beginning. There's not many people, Joe, who didn't know your daddy, Tony, over in Williamson County.
Absolutely. No.
He was well known, and you went in there and worked for a few years yourself in Williamson County. Yeah. So you started at our gun range at Stones River.
Yes, in 2004, I started at Stones River as the range manager over there.
And we're going to ask him some questions about that today, about shooting ranges and what y'all need to do when you go to them. Then you went to Williamson County.
I did,
And
2005.
Were you working with your dad at that time?
Not at that time. He retired, and I actually went to work for the county in Williamson County in 2005.
And that's a picture of your dad on the left there with Tim Cleveland, who was on a few weeks ago.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, and then your dad came back. It was
He did.
no reason to go into a long explanation how that worked, but he came back and worked for a year or two with
He
us.
did. He had the opportunity to come back and actually be my partner in Williamson County.
In Fortner County?
In Fortner County.
Okay.
We might go ahead and submit a letter on that.
I like it. Yeah.
But yeah, he came back and we worked together for a year, and it was really neat being able to work with your dad. Not only just work with, but be your partner as far as in law enforcement, and who are the 2 officers in Williamson County, and that was really fun. I learned a lot from him. He had a lot of years
Your dad's a smart man.
Absolutely, absolutely. So it helped me out tremendously, and it was just a really neat opportunity to be able to do that.
Okay. And then from Williamson County, you recently, or a few years ago, you made another move over to what we call Region 3, out of Region 2 into Dekalb County.
That's right. Went right across the regional line into DeKalb County in spring of 2012.
Spring of 2012. All right. How's the move been for you?
It's been good. Been good. Great county. Just good folks over there, and got a good partner. We're happy.
All right. Tony Cross is your partner over there,
Yes.
right? Or should we call it Cross County?
Cross County. That's right. That's
Rename
about
it.
right. He's got a similar reputation as my dad did for all those years. He's been there for a long time, and everybody knows Tony, and everybody loves Tony.
I have much respect for Tony. He's a good officer
do
over
too.
there. Well, you've done a good job, Joe. You have won this year's Officer of the Year, Southeastern Outdoor Officer of the Year, Tennessee's Officer of the Year, and you get to go to a big meeting later this year and be among the candidates who might be named Southeastern Officer of the Year. And anyway, whether you do or not, it's a great honor, and it's given to officers who do a lot of work with both enforcement, but also their information, their efforts with the public and all that kind of stuff. And so, great honor.
Well, thank you very much. That is a big honor. I mean, there's some great officers across the state, and I'm really honored. So that was really neat.
Yeah, the other day at the commission, we had a commission meeting, a long commission meeting over in Crossville, and they recognized Joe at that meeting for his for the work that he did. So how you liking that Dekalb County? And I want to talk some about how good it is and why sportsmen might want to go there.
Okay, yeah, DeKalb County, as I said, it's a great county. I came from Williamson County, as we just discussed, and Williamson was a good county too. It's 2 totally different counties as far as just the dynamics and the Williamson County has turned into a pretty populated, somewhat urban county. There's still rural areas left, and there's still some excellent hunting. Probably, I'd say, one of the best deer hunting counties in the state, as far as quality deers coming out of Williamson County. There's
Absolutely.
some great deer down there, and a lot of stuff going on. It's a good county. nothing. The real reason I left Williamson County is we had 3 young kids, had twin girls born, and had newborn twins, and my 3-year-old son, and my wife's from White County, and my mom lives up in Cookeville, and we decided with 3 and under, it was time to see if we couldn't get a little back up with some grandmamas. So DeKalb County opened up, and DeKalb County it's a good old game warden county, if you want to call it that. It's rural, and lots of hunting and fishing and boating, and it's been a good move. We've enjoyed it.
Okay, what would be the what's the city? This is the largest city.
Smithville.
Smithville would be the county seat.
It is.
Okay, and a couple other smaller cities in there.
Alexandria.
Okay,
and the other smaller would be just little communities, and nothing.
Okay.
Dowtown and Liberty and
Liberty.
Those, but
there's a good creek that runs through Liberty.
there's a great creek that goes through Liberty.
I'm familiar with that creek.
Doug
We've
will
talked
find
about
the
that creek. Yeah. All right. Well, good, Joe. Tell us then about DeKalb County. As far as is there public lands there? I know you have Center Hill and you have Center Hill Lake and you have Caney Fork River below Center Hill. Are there other public bodies of water there or other public lands in DeKalb County?
Well, as far as waters go, Center Hill Lake. I don't know the exact percentage, but I'd say probably 90% of Center Hill Lake is in DeKalb County.
Okay.
So just about all of it is there, and all the land surrounding Center Hill Lake is core property.
Okay.
And they open that up for public hunting.
So you can hunt deer and turkey on that.
Yes.
That great land around there.
That's right. And so they got some excellent opportunity around the lake.
Or squirrel.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned the Caney Fork. It's one of, I guess, in the central Tennessee area, probably the premier trout stream around.
Without a
I
doubt.
can't think of any other that would compete with it, and just gets a lot of pressure, but it's got a lot of fish. It's unbelievable. I'm on it. I wouldn't say every week. 2 weeks I'm going down the Caney, sometimes more, and it just amazes me the quality of fish that's just everywhere.
We talked about that before and then there's a photograph out on I think Mimi posted it of a brown trout. It's about this long that the angler's holding. It's incredible, and of course the state record brook trout came out of there
just a little while ago,
just a few months ago, and made news all over the place.
How long was that again?
Did you not have me?
No, I didn't
okay,
have
it was about that long.
Okay.
You just said that, didn't you? All right, sorry about that. I wasn't watching camera. Anyway, it's a great piece of water. It is cold. The Center Hill Lake is a very deep smallmouth style lake.
Yes.
And so that water's coming from the bottom of that lake down into the Caney Fork, and it's been stocked with brook trout and rainbow and brown trout. And despite how crowded it's become a big kayak canoe.
It is.
And it creates some issues that we want to talk to you about, but it still fishes wonderfully.
Oh, absolutely. It's a great river.
People, they fly fish it, as you saw. They rod and reel fish it. They spin fish it. They use corn. They use salmon eggs. They use flies that are so small. Chris Nishin, our guide friend, you can't even see what they are and catch monster fish on them. Mm-hmm. It's a unique place. There are a lot of difficulties on it or controversies on it right now. Joe, I don't think anybody's come to fist fights yet, but it's people getting used to each other. We have a campaign going called Share the River that was started in large part because of the Caney Fork River, because a few years ago, a lot of liveries, canoe liveries or kayak liveries sprung up down there. Now you got these folks that are all over the place doing this, and it's within their right. They're doing what they want to do. But sometimes some of these folks are new to what they're doing, and they don't know when a person's fishing to give them a little room, and it creates some irritation there.
It does. And, it's just a mutual respect that we need to work on. And for the most part, it's good. But the problem is that it gets a lot of people. I keep track with the number of when I work it, depending on how I'm working, but when I work it going up the river, we'll check for life jackets, make sure everybody's compliant on that. We'll keep a track of number of canoes and kayaks that we come in contact with, and it's not uncommon to have 500 to 600 contacts in between a 6 mile stretch.
In one day?
In one day.
500 or 600?
Yes. It gets a lot. So, and 95% of them are great. No problems whatsoever. They respect the fishermen. They'll go to whichever side they're not fishing, and it's not a problem. And for the most part, the others that don't, it's more of a lack of understanding.
Okay.
They're new to it, and they might not think anything about going right in front of a fisherman or going up right on top of where he's wanting to fish, the structure or the current that he's wanting to throw into.
And I'm not so sure it affects the fish all that much. It just affects your fishing trip.
The fish are so used to the traffic, I really don't think it affects them much at all. But, it's aggravating as a fisherman, when you're working on this stump or you're working on whatever, and, all of a sudden you get 10 kayaks going on top of where you were.
Do y'all talk to them? Do you and Tony and the other officers do you try to talk to some of those and
Absolutely.
explain to them what's going on?
Yeah, and people are very receptive to it. I mean, generally it's not a problem. They're not trying to mess up that guy's fishing.
Okay.
And at the same time, there's fishermen that might not be as giving as they ought to be too.
I agree with that.
There's fault on both sides.
Yeah.
You sharing the creek, you sharing the river is what it's all about. And just because a fisherman can stand on one side and throw to the other, he can't get upset if he's fishing the whole stream. So, they're going to have to give a little too. They've, when it's all said and done, the boats have just as much right to the river as the fishermen.
It is public water.
So it's public water. So, as I said, a little give and take to both. I think everybody can go down the river and enjoy it very much.
And really the canoe and kayaking stuff is primarily in the hotter times of the year anyway,
Yes.
right? They kind of disappear in the fall and the winter, and those trout don't care about that cold.
That's right. And, right now school started back, and our canoeing traffic has gone down a lot. So, the fishermen can take this as an opportunity to get out there if they don't want the boating traffic to as much as it has been, to get out there and not have to compete as much.
Okay. Are they pretty good these days, Joe, on the river about wearing their life jackets? I know the shot that Jason popped up there, he looks everything's right. He's got on his jacket.
They're doing a really good job of, the majority probably don't wear it, but they've got it within hand's reach 96% of the time.
Okay.
So it's, we check, as I told you, we check a lot of boats, and, we'll write, a few tickets for it. It's a generating river. It can get, dangers, when they, and, but, it's very rare. 99% of the time, everybody's compliant.
And then are the folks putting life jackets on the kids that are 12 and under on it?
Yeah, for the most part, they are.
Okay.
Here again, this very, very small percentage don't. But as far as just the compliance rate, it's they're very good about keeping those kids safe.
All right, good deal. And I'm glad you brought up the generation schedule too. If you've never fished below a dam, they generate. They turn on the big boils or the generators, and they boil out, and the water comes down, and the levels rise real quick. Have you seen any issues much on the Caney Fork with that in recent years, as far as people getting in trouble and danger?
It does happen. It's not, this year, I need to knock on wood, we haven't had that call yet. But up till this year, since I've been there for 3 or 4 years, we've had at least one rescue that we've had to come down and assist with. And that's,
don't park your trucks out on those gravel bars.
Now, we have lost 2 trucks this year.
Have you?
I sure have. People, if you're used to a river that you can just go drive down to and park right beside it and go down and float and come back, don't do it on the Caney Fork, because that water you'll see nothing but the cab of the truck when you get back if they're generating.
It does happen if you leave your equipment laying on that bar, walk away from it. If you leave anything out there, or even your body. I learned a long time ago with my long legs that when that water starts rising, you better get out of there quick. You don't waste any time, and especially if you got on waders, because that stuff will come over the top of that.
And they can get bad in a hurry with waders. Those waders fill up before you realize it, and you're in trouble.
Yeah. All right. Wonderful river. Just be safe with it.
That's right.
Be cordial of everyone. Tell me about Center Hill Lake a little bit. Is it getting a lot of traffic these days? Are there starting to be much development around it? Still a sort of reclusive lake? How would you describe it?
I would compare it to when I was in Williamson and I'd come, help with Percy Priest and the Davidson County lakes. It's much lower key, much slower, much to me, more enjoyable. There's not as many boats, and it's a different lake than that. But we're close enough to Nashville. You can be on Center Hill in about probably less than an hour from Nashville. So we do have a lot of Nashville traffic.
Cookeville to the east of it.
Cookeville
Nashville
to the
west.
east, that's right. Cookeville's about 25, 30 minutes east of us. So it's in a great location. And yes, we do have a lot of boating traffic, but, not near nothing that the Nashville and Chattanooga lakes, have coming to them. But we definitely.
I've never got good on it, but the fishermen that are good on Center Hill, they're some of the best fishermen you'll ever come across. They can catch those bass fishermen. There's a bass club over there, one or two. They are as good as anybody I've seen.
They are. And it's a different lake. If you're used to the Percy Priest or the Old Hickory Lakes, they're somewhat shallow. If you want to, and Center Hill, and it's a big impoundment and it's deep, and it's drops off quick, and it's different fishing than. Finding your little shallow spots. But yeah, absolutely. Some excellent fishermen, some good smallmouth over there. And
a few years ago, I didn't fish tournaments much, but it was a charity tournament, and I fished it with a friend of mine, and we ran all up and down the lake, and we weren't catching anything. And naturally, we weren't catching anything. Nobody else was. And when we went back, they weighed in, I think, 800 and something pounds of largemouth and smallmouth. And I knew that tournaments were never going to be for me. It's a wonderful lake, though. It's got good smallmouth in it and good largemouth in it, and it's got great big bluegill and shellcracker in it. And there's I'd sent them in. I don't think we have the photos, but there's black-nosed crappie. When I think of black-nosed crappie, I think of Center Hill because that's where it all started in Tennessee, where black-nosed crappie was stocked. Anders Murr, maybe before your time.
It was definitely before I was over there, yeah.
Yeah, and they stocked black-nosed crappie in the Center Hill, and they took off there, and everybody loved them, and now we stock black-nosed crappie all over the place.
I didn't know that. You taught me something. Yeah, so that was where it started,
There's a guy named Anders Murr, and he's one of your biologists over in Region 3 before you started.
I know the name, yeah.
Yeah, he did a great job, and also had stuff to do with that size limit over on Dale Holler for those smallmouth that everybody loved now.
Okay.
So he was good. Anyway, what other little secrets do you have over in Dekalb County? Good deer and good turkey hunting. You can go around the lake.
We're still close enough. We got, half the counties in the Nashville Basin area, so it's still got that quality, deer that the Nashville Basin grows so well. And then
smaller bodies of water.
There are some streams and creeks. While we're talking about trout, we have a couple of small trout creeks that we stock in February, March, and April, called Pine Creek and Sink Creek are the two creeks that we do that to, and it gets a lot of it seems like it's mainly the locals that come down there and kind of get away from the Caney Fork and enjoy it.
If you opened up our fishing guide and looked at the creeks that are stocked in the summertime, spring and summer, would Pine and Sink, are they among those that are listed on there?
Yes, they're listed on there.
Okay. And I think I've fished one of them before. They're pretty little creeks. I mean, they're small, but they're beautiful little creeks.
Pretty creeks, but they're small. They're not very deep, man. They're good creeks to fish.
Okay. Remember, you got to have permission to access a lot of those.
Yes. Right? Yeah. You got to have permission, and there's a couple of spots that everybody can go down there and have access to. But yes, if you go very far either direction, you're gonna have to have permission to be on their land. Okay.
All right. Let's switch subject a little bit. Back in the days before you worked in Fortner County, you were the range. You ran the range at Stones River.
Yes.
And this is a time of year where a lot of folks are going to our shooting ranges and getting ready for deer season. And a lot of folks go to them. I'm going to ask you that question. So a lot of folks just go to shoot. The days you were there in the very early days of Stones River Range, and that's a really good range right here in the Nashville area, near between Mount Juliet and Nashville. Mm-hmm. And great range, great public range. What did you see in terms of people who were using it? Were they mostly hunters, or were they mostly shooters, or a combination?
It was a combination. It's got a pistol range on, one of the three ranges is a handgun range. And it would get a lot of users that weren't necessarily hunters that just like to shoot. I guess everybody kind of had that same common interest, and they probably hunted before. But it seemed like the handgun shooters that a lot of them just enjoyed to shoot, just enjoy going and shooting. So I'd say it's probably half and half. A lot of them probably don't hunt as much as they have in the past, or maybe not even at all.
But they want to keep shooting.
But they want to keep
Yeah.
shooting. That's right. It's a good sport.
Do you remember if you had the do's and don'ts of a range, or if you had the tips that you wanted to give folks coming to a range, what would they be? What mistakes did people make? What did they do wrong? What did they do right?
Well, I guess the first thing on a range, today, everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people have concealed carries, and it's perfectly fine to carry a concealed loaded firearm. But when you come to a range, we want to inspect that firearm.
Mm-hmm.
We want to make sure before you're shooting it down range on our ranges that it's the gun is going to be safe for you and whoever's on the lane next to you. So our main rule going into it that all firearms are unloaded and in a case. So
and that makes somebody angry every now and then.
it does. It aggravates them.
But it does.
No, it shouldn't at all. I mean, we're not trying to impede on anybody's rights or anything, but we are wanting to run a safe range. And at this place, they're going to take that firearm out and they're going to be shooting it, and we're going to give them a safe place to do it, and we want to keep them safe just like everybody else.
The guy
safe.
next to him safe.
That's right. So. When they leave, they can load it up, stick it back on their hip, and do whatever. But when they come in, they're going to go through the inspection station, and it does need to be unloaded and encased, and so everybody can, take it out and look at it, and make sure that it is what it needs to be to shoot at a public range.
Okay, all right. If they do that, everything goes in. There were very few incidents when you were there.
Yes. When I was there, there wasn't really any problems as far as with the firearms themselves. People, we give everybody a safe place, a safe line to shoot on. They can't go past it, and as long as they're pointed down range, and that there's no problems. It's a manned range, meaning that there's range safety officers that work it, RSOs we call them, and we try to keep 2 or 3 per range. One of them sitting on the podium, overlooking everybody, calling the hot, and he's on the megaphone and calling the hot range and cold range, and giving the commands. And then there'll be 1 or 2 walking around, just making sure that everybody's doing what they need to do.
What would the agency do without range safety officers?
Oh, that would shut down.
Yeah.
That place is held together by that core group of guys.
These are all volunteers.
All volunteers, and just an incredible group of people, and that's what keeps it going. If it wasn't for that, you couldn't operate a safe public gun range.
Okay, so make sure you have everything encased. Any other tips like that? Anything for the rifle or that you can think of?
Well, just more than anything, listen to the commands.
Okay.
And it can be difficult. And once you get your earplugs in and your muffs on, they're on a loudspeaker, so they can be heard. But listen to the commands, and when you hear something in the background talking, listen to them, and they say ceasefire, it's time to quit, or they'll give a 2-minute warning, or and just tell you what you need to be doing to keep everybody safe.
Okay, and these ranges are open to everybody, right?
Correct.
You don't have to have a hunting license to go on there. What do you need, Joe?
Well, you can go in and buy your permit there on site. I think it's been a few years since I was there, but I believe it's $8 2-hour.
I'm shaking my head, but
now.
I'm not sure either. But it's on our website, and I can see
That's
Jason
right.
in the background
Check out our
working over
website
it.
for sure.
It's out there. Last time we talked a little about range, after the words, we said, "Hey, there's prices on there. We should have shown it."
Yeah, we should have shown that. So
it's on this website, right?
It's around the $8 mark, and it's for 2 hours of range time. It's a pretty good deal to be given such a good place to go.
All right, Joe. What's your wife's name?
Misty.
And your children?
We got 3 kids. Carly and Jolie are the twins. They're 3 years old, and my son's 6, and his name is Anderson.
And is he going to Williamson County one day too?
Well, he might.
Or whatever
He
county.
might.
Fortner County.
Joe, you're great. We appreciate you being on here.
Well, thanks. I enjoyed it.
Congratulations.
I appreciate it very much.
You're a young guy that's already done a lot of stuff. And I heard somebody call you a kid the other day at the commission meeting. I thought, well, he's not quite a kid, but he's not far from it. He's a great officer, Joe. Thank you very much. All right, Jason.
Hey, make sure you check out our show, tnwildcast.com. You can find all the previous shows, the current shows right there. Watch Facebook and Twitter. We're going to be putting out our Wildcast extras, and that'll keep you up to date on what's going on in Tennessee.
Hey, win you a hat and shirt.
Yeah.
All right, hat and shirt. Watch that extra. We'll see you next week.
Thanks.